So Gotrek Gurnison is an enduring character from the Black Library stable. He's actually been around since before Black Library's inception. In terms of what great characters do we want to sort of bring back and reimagine in the sort of new age of Sigmar setting, Gotrek was very, very high on that list. The last time we saw that character in the Warhammer Old World setting, he'd literally just passed through a Rome gate. So we felt that narratively and in terms of the character's weight and history, he was a great choice for this audio drama. Well, the first thing you have to consider is who you're going to get to write for the project. And for us, there was only really one choice, and that was David Guymer.
Writing a script for audio, it's sort of like a prose story with all of the little crutches taken away. So you have to tell your characters purely through their dialogue and, you know, a little bit of sound effects perhaps. Because your actors can carry quite a lot. They can convey things that purely as writer talking to reader, you know, you can't always so well.
Malineth, great ponytail. I wish I had her hair. I've got a lot of respect for her because she's very much sort of on her own, really. She doesn't have many friends, but that doesn't seem to deter her. She's got a great direction. She's got great focus in terms of what she wants and what she's going to get.
My characters don't really go on any specific journey. There's not really character arcs for the rat creatures. They get killed and then they go away. The berserkers turn up, they get killed and they go away. But Hammerfriend goes and checks out who's going to be invading and comes back and says, it's a bunch of people are invading. So his journey is he runs to the gates and he runs back again. But the coolest bit is eating elf meat. That was deliciously eating some elf meat.
He's a wizard. He's helping the Duardin, the dwarves. He's an eccentric character. He's this eccentric wizard. He has a sort of skittish, maniacal kind of energy to him. But you realise that there's a darker side to him, and he's on a different quest himself, and it's really about power. But he certainly becomes a much darker force within the story. There's a sort of demonic, maniacal energy, and it's just great fun to play. You can exorcise a lot of personal demons, actually, that way.
We'd often ruminated if we were ever to do a longer sort of audio drama with a character like Gotrek. It happens that we are doing that now. That wouldn't Brian Blessed be amazing voicing him? And so it was a bit of a dream come true, I think. The first thing I wanted to do was shout Gordon's alive at the top of my voice.
He doesn't take fools kindly, but he has a rich imagination, a gigantic voice, and the most powerful thing in the universe. He has the most powerful warrior. He transcends magic. He transcends prejudice. He transcends fear. He knows no fear. And for him, death does not exist. That life is the last word and death is not. It's the most bloody enjoyable part to play. It's an amazing character, an amazing script. I mean, it's artistically and brilliantly written, and they're directing it beautifully. I loved it. I said yes straight away. I couldn't say yes quick enough because of its imagination, its universality, it's epic, and it has great reality, and it has marvellous relationships. He is the life force. So I think I'm loving doing this more than any other part, because I enjoyed Flash Gordon, playing Voltan. Gordon's alive. I think my last line in this is Gotrek is alive.
Brodeur is a fire slayer, a Duardin, and he's this person who, without giving too much away, meets Gotrek and thinks that he is God. And he sort of spends a lot of the time sort of trying desperately to impress and ingratiate himself with Gotrek and kind of become his sidekick, but he's like a little puppy. Kind of keeps getting kicked all of the time by Gotrek, who doesn't really want to have anything to do with it. But eventually he sort of has a very heroic sort of ending.
I think the narrator has to be a slightly different tone to the rest of it. Not dispassionate, but it should be someone that gives the audience time to take in what's going on and not tell them what to think. Let them
give them room to emote. You know, I think a narrator should be someone who guides, but doesn't tell them what to think. So, and yes, sometimes I can comment on that. If something's humorous and the writer has given the narrator a humorous line, then I'll give it a bit. But I often try to sort of step back a bit and be quite sort of subtle in my reactions, if I can say that.
Also, Yandy turns out to be quite a traitorous character. He's not as honourable as he'd like to make out. And he takes great pride in explaining and expressing what it means to him, to his people, where he's from. And I think all of that has to come out in his voice. I got a little chill down my spine, sort of reading some of his lines as he's charging forward into battle, you know. And I like to think that, you know, I hopefully I conveyed that okay. But that was pretty cool.
So Fawn is a Duardin Fire Slayer. He's the son of a Rune Lord and has been tasked with, at the beginning of the whole thing, with leading a force in a not particularly glorious exercise campaign. And he's arrogant and hot-headed, all the things you would typically want from a Duardin Fire Slayer, but he very quickly learns a lesson in humility, gains some wisdom, loses some body parts. How did I prepare? I did a lot of drinking and a lot of running around naked and shouting, mostly.
Snorri is a character who, like the rest of the Duardin, is potentially quite fierce, quite physically strong, courageous, and yet now we see a much softer side of him. We see him being taken care of in a way by Gotrek, because his memory seems to be failing. He can't quite remember the details of their relationship. And Gotrek is forced to show a side of himself that we haven't seen so far in the drama.
He's a legend and it's been such good fun. I mean, aside from his brilliant performance, which is like pitch perfect anyway, he's the man of a million anecdotes, and he's like an explorer. He's been up Everest without oxygen, he's been to the North Pole. It's just been incredible fun and a real privilege.
Whenever you're working with someone of that caliber, and Brian is right up there, you just sponging knowledge and wisdom and stuff. So that was hugely wonderful. But mostly the come away was he's just really fun. And he's so good. It's just very artistically satisfying, and yeah, we were laughing whenever the recording button got turned off. We were just in hysterics.
You know, you look at a scene and you think you have an idea, and then you work with somebody like Brian, and it just takes it to another level, and you find yourself slightly going somewhere differently. And you know, working with Brian's been fantastic, but working with the whole team, everybody's just so on it. There's a lot of joy, there's a lot of fun, but there's also a lot of seriousness going on, because you know this is serious work. But it's been a very sort of loving, supportive, encouraging, creative environment.
Matt, the producer, has been brilliant. He gives great direction, tells you what he requires, asks you to tweak certain things. The other actors have been brilliant. They've made me feel welcome. It's been a real pleasure to be a part of this.
Can't tell you how thrilled I was to know that Brian was going to be playing Gotrek, because you just know he's going to bring so much to the part. I mean, he knew this character inside out, and he knew what he was doing. That relationship that I had with Brian then, when we were in the studio together and we were able to look at each other and actually engage as two actors, is actually a very precious memory.
A lot of it really isn't acting. I just be it. But I love things that are a challenge. All the actors have struggled in there, but they're producing marvellous performances out of vulnerability, not of being oversure, overconfident. So I go in there and then it suddenly lights up. And it's teamwork. We've got a bloody marvellous cast. I can't do it without a bloody marvellous cast.
He's got a fantastic voice, so unique, unmistakable really, and Gotrek is an unmistakable character. So the two go together really well. So my hope is, and my expectation is, that the fans are going to absolutely love the fact that Brian's taken on this role.